In a world where two retired vets decided their phone conversations about WWE and storylines would make a good podcast, only one podcast dares to predict the future, where every move, every feud, every moment is overanalyzed. Grab your number 2 pencils. Get ready to step into the squared circle. This is your front row seat to the storylines as you wish they were written. Welcome to the If We Had the Pencil podcast. Here are your hosts, Sean Green and Matt Jackson.
Welcome to the If We Had the Pencil podcast. I already can't talk, but as you can see, it's Great Outdoors Edition number 2, except Matt and I aren't co-located. I'm here in wonderful Watkins Glen, New York, probably at the most bougiest of bougie KOA places I've ever seen in my life. But that's neither here or there. We've had a crazy weekend of wrestling. Matt, how the hell are you, man?
Good, man. Been in a half hours of wrestling this weekend. And I tell you, it was great to watch some of the stuff. I went back and watched the second time because my wife fell asleep during a SummerSlam Saturday.
Darn.
That's okay. I didn't mind watching some of that stuff again. It was
Running it back.
A lot of stuff happened this weekend from Friday through last night. It was a lot of stories being told, some big surprises, some shockers, things that we thought would happen but we really wish didn't. Sami Zayn. But yeah, good weekend. Good weekend. Enjoyed it. I thought the production throughout the weekend was great, so enjoyed it. What'd you think?
I thought it was great. Some stuff I wish they could take back. I'll say it up front. This is going to be a SummerSlam heavy show, and probably more post SummerSlam as well. But, you know, obviously we got to talk about a couple of things that came out on SmackDown. But to say it this way, all the stipulation matches that were on Sunday really kind of sucked. And I didn't like it. I'm just being honest. Like, the matches themselves, we'll get into it. But, like, it just was gimmick after gimmick after gimmick, and it's like...
What was I texting you Saturday night? What was I texting you Saturday night? Too many weapons, too much this.
Yep.
They should have spread it out over 2 nights. Basically had 5 out of 6 matches Sunday night was stipulation matches. That's a lot. I mean, even the women's triple threat, while not like it's implied it's no DQ, but not advertised that, but the triple threat, that's a stipulation match. So... yeah, it was stipulation heavy for sure. Which I'm good with stiffs, but it was just it was overload. And a lot of and we'll talk about it more, but some of the stuff we saw in other matches on Sunday night took away from what really should have been featured on a couple of matches on Sunday night. If you get what I'm laying down here.
Yeah, for sure. So let's just get into SmackDown. SmackDown kicks off with John Cena and Cody Rhodes. Basically, Cena tells us everything that we knew was going to happen based off Cody's promo last week, which is Cena basically said, you beat some common sense into me, and here I am. I'm going to be John Cena of old. And as predicted here on this podcast, and here we are, SummerSlam, and guess what? John Cena's the face again. Meh. Okay, it was cool. It did what it needed to. Look. They had to get out of it. I like that he kind of, everybody had this great idea because obviously he's playing off of Unreal. And, so we all kind of know how it went down anyways. And they were like, yeah. So he played off of it. He basically blamed The Rock for everything.
Yep. Blasted him and Travis Scott. That was good. Everybody
left me. They just left me with this steaming turd and I tried to make it work. That's essentially what he said, but more power to him. I'm not going to hold it against him, but yeah, it did what it needed to do, and we got a face v face at SummerSlam, which we'll get into when we get there. After that, we get our women's United States champion, Julia, and she's up against Zelina Vega, and I'm going to be honest with you, I've been critical of Zelina Vega the last few weeks, but she did okay in this one. And Julia is amazing. Period.
Yeah, I had that. I had that in my notes too. The first note I had from that match was Zelina looked really good tonight, and I was glad for it because you've been kind of hard on her. I've been really hard on Zelina Vega, and she had a good match. The whole match itself was really solid. It was probably the best match on the show, actually. Good for Zelina Vega and good for Julia.
I'll argue that because the match after that, I thought was the best match, and I'm biased. So the AAA Tag Team Championships, Los Garza versus Mr. Iguana and Psycho Clown. I was like, I don't know why. Every time they put those dudes on from AAA, I'm just like a crack addict, man. I love watching them wrestle, and like they're, it's so different. So like early WWE before the Attitude Era got kind of cartoonish, right? Like, you just had Bob the Plumber coming out, or you get my point.
Yeah.
Just everyday shit. You had Doink the Clown for crying out loud. But, who was actually a pretty cool character, by the way. But, like, watching these guys, like, watching Mr. Iguana actually wrestle with that stuffed iguana in his mouth and using it as part of his wrestling thing, I was like, that's some commitment right there, and I loved it. And like, I just love watching those guys go, man. It's so
Yeah.
good.
No, I mean, even my wife was commenting about Mr. Iguana. Like when he's like perky and he's got energy, you'll see his tongue flick out by like a lizard. But if he's hurt or if he's tired, it comes out a lot more slowly and not as much. So like he really, I mean, he's deep into character. So yeah, it was fun. I thought that the Julia Zelina match flowed a little bit better than Los Gaza and Iguana and Psycho Clown, but Psycho Clown had more fun moments in it. Cool moment was when Psycho Clown rips the front of his mask off, like, and he has the other mask underneath. I thought it's a cool spot. And Lucha Libre's cartoonish. I think we can get away with that nowadays. This isn't Vinci cartoonish. This is Mexican culture that we're seeing. So we're seeing a culture, which really makes it interesting. So, I mean, we got Triple Mania coming up like in less than 2 weeks, and that's going to be worth watching.
I know they were promoting it, and I was like, ooh, I got to make sure I watch that. Like,
and that's
I'm
why.
addicted.
And that's why you saw Mr. Iguana and Psycho Clown. That's stop promoting. You're going to probably see more this SmackDown and probably maybe even on Monday Night Raw next week. So, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, I like it because they're getting exposure, and I think it's going to build bigger, and I think they're going to eventually hit a point where they can transition away from just being on WWE's YouTube and move on to being on like Peacock or whatever streaming platform. I think we will see eventually that move of them transitioning into like regular mainstream broadcasts outside of, so I'm all for it, man. I love watching it. It's so entertaining. So after that, we get Aleister Black and Damian Priest, and that was kind of anticlimactic for me. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I thought it was going to be better. It went too short. I have to say though, Aleister Black is really good at a chair toss. We saw a lot of chair tossing this week. Like it's like they got
Stuff
all the
was
roster
flying all weekend long. Like stuff was just everywhere.
I could just picture they got the whole roster in the back, and like Triple H walks out with an old VCR tape and shoves it in, and what pops up on the screen is the Terry Funk chair tossing class, and like everybody had to sit through and watch just video of Terry just how to throw a chair because Terry could be precise like from across the ring. From outside the ring and across the ring. So yeah, a lot of chair tossing, a lot of stuff this weekend that we don't normally see. A lot of stuff that was banned in the past. They're opening stuff up now.
We saw a pile driver.
We saw a couple of chairs to the head. Granted, they were release shots, but they weren't, old style cranium busters. But they get a little bit more free with letting them throw weapons around.
Yeah. Like I said, it's some spots this weekend were really cool with flying objects, and other spots it was like, okay, I've had enough. But we'll touch on them when they come. Talatonga and Jimmy Uso went. Yeah, it went about as expected. I didn't see a difference.
No.
Afterwards, Jacob comes out to try to make the save. The cage half comes down, and we get a little preview of what the cage match is supposed to look like. But
we'll talk about that later too. And
yeah.
I think we saw a little Jelly Roll for SmackDown too. He got attacked at the Performance
I was
Center.
getting there.
Okay, I'm gonna let you drive forward then.
Yeah. So Jelly Roll, Randy Orton. So basically Drew and Logan Paul come out, start talking crap. You know, a couple of reference. I'm a Jelly Roll fan, so like as soon as when he started talking about talking to God and all that stuff, I was like, I know that song. So, he starts talking crap, and then the as only WWE can do, the car, limo, SUV, insert vehicle shows up, and here comes Jelly Roll, and then he taps on the hood, and out comes Randy Orton. So you got both of them. We get a nice little skirmish, a little bit, and then security tries to break it up, and security tries to break it up, and we get a bunch of RKO's and a Jelly Roll choke slam. So it was all right. Look, I am going to be a huge proponent for Jelly Roll, and not just because I like his music. I think that dude, based on every report I have heard, everything I've heard, that guy cares. And it's so refreshing to see somebody that doesn't want to just get over to get over. He cared. That loss was his idea. Him losing was that idea. Him taking the big table spot was his idea. Supposedly. Allegedly. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. But like him, and we'll talk about it more in the match. I know I'm spilling the beans early, but like I really respect somebody that can respect the business and also kind of know their role. You know what I mean? Like the privilege that they're being offered. And then on top of that, just so folks know, I didn't know this. My wife told me this. So apparently, he had to wear a special compression shirt underneath his clothes while he was training and wrestling because of his weight loss. All that excess skin is really why he moves so slow. Like, and he had to wear a special shirt and stuff to contain the excess skin. And until he reaches his weight loss goal, he's not going to be able to, get rid of it. But, power to him, man. He lost, 200 pounds, they announced, or something like that? Or?
I think it was like, 235 or 245, because he's under 300, and he said that's the first time since middle school. So that's 8th grade.
Sixth grade.
Yeah, was it 6th grade? Okay.
I think I heard 6th grade, but like, man,
that's
props
crazy.
to the dude, man. And I'm not putting politics in this, but I'm going to say this because it's the thing that happened. So Triple H goes to the White House. They reinstitute the presidential fitness test or whatever it's called. Look, I think it was a great bringing together of circumstances with Jelly Roll being on, because not only is and look, let's be fair to WWE. There's nothing wrong with what's being promoted there because they're promoting healthier lifestyles, right? And in the past, that would have been a joke because, they're like, bro, everybody's on roids.
Yeah.
Not the case right now.
Wrong vitamins.
Yeah, wrong. Don't be like we're not role models. No, but, so we, so promoting a healthy lifestyle, and then on top of that, featuring Jelly Roll, who is 100% taking ownership. Yeah, I got it. He's got more resources. He got money, everything else. But
still have to have the drive and the ambition and the want to get there.
And the fact that he has that kind of drive and ambition, which since I retired from the military, I 100% don't have. I have 100% dad bod going on. My 6-pack's in a cooler. Yep. But no, but I want to give him his props because, like, he put in the work. And I almost think that they're saying without saying that, like, the deal was he had to put in the work and he had to get under 300. And let me tell you, like, after the match, after a few things that I've seen of him, you can tell he's putting in the work because you could tell on his body, especially when he came out later, like, he was feeling it. He was feeling it in the post show. And it was just like, he felt like he got hit by a bus and the adrenaline wasn't fully worn off yet. So it was like, okay, buddy.
He was, I don't think he could have got out of the way of a park bus the way he was moving. But still, and then the Presidential Fitness Award, even hearing that brought back like memories when I was in school. That was a big thing every year. Get ready for the Presidential Fitness thing. And if you scored a certain way, you get a little badge or get ready. But it's like you said, it promotes healthy living. And, I think that carries on into your lifestyle. I mean, people want to be healthy, so I think it's just tough.
It's all the rage now.
Yeah.
Got to go CrossFit. Got to go
Well,
flip tires, man.
less young people are drinking alcohol. Like I guess like the big thing now for adults in their 20s and 30s, they're not drinking anymore. They actually go to bars and drink soda or whatever, and hey, that's fine. But do I want to have avocado on everything the rest of my life? No. Do I still want a fat, greasy cheeseburger and a bag of chips? Hell yeah! But like, yeah, you have consequences for choices, so I think it's good to give kids a reason as we pop open beers.
I just reloaded. Like, watch as I do what you're not supposed to do. It's not cool anymore.
No.
And I'm going to be doing it all weekend, too.
Yes. So if you're audio only, Sean, I'm drinking a beer. Sean cracked your Smirnoff, so yeah. Here's to the presidential physical fitness test. There we go.
There we go.
Hey, real quick. Actually, every time before I would do a PT test, right? This is my ritual that night. I would drink 2 or 3 beers before that night before a PT test, right? Get loaded up on carbs. And then right before I go to bed, I'd have 2 packets of oatmeal. And that always seemed to work, so there's something to it. So
I used to smoke right before so I could get my lungs opened up so I could run.
Yep, same here. And then I go run like a 13-minute 2-mile, and the sergeant major be like, I don't know how you run so fast. As I, light up a Marlboro. Hey, well, sergeant major.
It opens me up. I don't know what to tell you.
Plus it's a little bit of this in here, a little bit of drive and heart, So that's good. And to bring it back to doing this in schools for the kids, I think that's competition's healthy. Like you want to better yourself, and by being competitive with other kids, I think it's a good thing. So let's not crap on it, folks. We want our kids to be healthy.
Exactly. All right, so let's get into the night 1 SummerSlam Saturday night.
Yeah, buddy.
Which somebody may have watched out of order. Anyways.
Hey, real quick before we go into this, because I'm going to forget it. I did not like, I'm on Central Time, so it was 5 o'clock. But for East Coast, I did not like it at 6 o'clock. Because the arena didn't get dark enough to really look cool until like the second to last match. So I think if they would have started at 7, your first couple 3 matches are going to be, pretty light out, but it's going to be, the sun's going down. And then you get into that like big dark light, stadium where like the Wyatts come out. You would have seen that more. The lighting would have been better. I mean, it's a minor beef, but I now I understand after watching the post show why they wanted both shows done around 9:30 at night East Coast time, so they could have their post show and then they get everybody out of there early.
I think it's kind of a catch-22, right? Like, because with the 6 o'clock start time, I was like, this is really early, which kind of screwed up my weekend. But I have family stuff going on Saturday. Neither here nor there. But, like, a later start would have been beneficial for me. Conversely, like, the early start on Sunday and wrapping it up a little bit earlier than usual, I was like, man, it ain't midnight. I can go to bed at a normal hour. So I see both sides of it. Like, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not for it. I actually said to you in text, I was like, man, Wyatt's coming out and the stadium's too bright. Like, how cool would it have been, man? A dark stadium, you cut the lights and you get all the fireflies, man. It would have been cool. But that's night 2.
That's night 2.
Let's talk about night 1. All right, so night 1 kicks off. It's Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. And one of the first things that made me literally Braun Breaker is great, by the way. I love that dude, and I'm loving him more every week. Like, actually, Bronson Reed too, because we'll get into it. But like, him having Roman Reigns in a headlock, Jay in a headlock and singing Roman Reigns. I was dying.
You suck. Was like, tell him he sucks, Roman. Oh, it's great. Why don't you go away?
Oh my god. Because you suck. I was dying. It was so good. And then like the others, I try not to talk about spots, but I have to in this match because there was some cool shit. And one of the coolest ones was, I think it was Jay getting ready to make the tag, and the synchronized stopping of the tag, like, was so effing well done. Like, so well done. Like, Jay's going for the tag.
Yeah, Bronson pulled Roman. Yep, that was great.
Yeah, it was but the timing was so impeccable because it was synchronized. It was just like, oh, he's gonna. Both of them went opposite directions, and it was so good. That dive that Reigns did, he almost died. He was about a hillbilly's hair away from not rotating enough, but
other than that, that was the best I've seen
there was
Roman like in a long time too. He looked great.
When he's been showing up, he's actually really been on point. So I got to give him his credit there. I really do. And then he sold his ass off in this match, like hardcore. Like he was selling as selling could be. And there was a lot of good callbacks throughout that match by the commentary team that were, for something that had such a minuscule build, to like all of a sudden have like some context and understanding. It was just amazing. And, you know, we'll talk about look, I'm still not there with Roman Reigns. I get why Jay teams with him, sort of. It's family, you watch out for family, blah, 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 you know, Fast and Furious shit. My problem is that I don't care that I appreciate that he ate the spear for Jay, but I still need more. Like, you know, taking one for the team, that's still in your own interest. I'll keep on saying it until it happens. Like, if you're going to make Roman Reigns a face, you can't just count on the fans popping for him because he showed up to work for the first time in 4 months. You need him to come out and give some context like, hey, I've been an asshole. I treated y'all like shit. My bad. You know, but we're family. We can get past it. That's all I need. I don't need anything more than that.
I don't think they're going to go that route. I kind of messaged you during it, and I said it's almost like Roman is going to has to pay a penance, but it's not going to be verbal. It's going to be by him putting himself in dangerous situations for Jay, and then if they reunite with Sammy or whoever down the line, like Roman's got to be the one that's got to take the beating, and I think that's what they're looking to do. And we'll get more into this when we get to Monday night's show, but it just seems to me that like maybe it's not in this character. Like, I'm not talking about Joe the man. I'm talking about the Roman Reigns character. He's probably never going to be the one to verbally admit he's wrong, but actions speak louder than words. So I think if he's willing to put himself in those situations where he sacrifices himself, maybe that's the character's way of like saying sorry or trying to make up for all his misdeeds. I'm just throwing out what it could be. That may not even be it, but it just seems like they're never going to have Roman ever come out and break it down.
But it's such a quick and easy fix just to have him do it, right? Like, yeah. I don't get that. Like, just do it. Like, get it over with. Because then it gives him, then I buy him as a face, right? Like,
yeah, like they did with John Cena on Friday Night SmackDown. He came out and basically said, "I've been a dickhead," and the fans like, "Okay, we forgive you. Like, all is well."
That's all it takes.
Yeah,
that's all you need to do.
Because you're right. Because sometimes in the real world, that's all it takes is somebody wrongs somebody just to go up and say, "Hey, I was a real jerk. I'm sorry," and they're like, "Everything's good." So I don't know. I don't write the script. I just watch it and talk about it.
But we do. We know they steal our stuff. Just kidding.
They do.
They should. I know they do.
If they do, then they don't have my right address because I've yet to see a royalty check once.
Well, we put this stuff out for free, so it's out there in the ether. So.
Damn it!
And we're not the only ones that think it. We'll get into it with this match.
I'm just
Sami Zayn and Carrie. Or I skipped a match.
You did.
Bad. Bliss and Flair versus the Judgment Day. Like, I'll give you the quick down and dirty on this one. Rodriguez, most improved wrestler of anybody this year. I don't know why all of a sudden losing Liv Morgan and she stepped up her game. I know Kevin Nash said something to her, but whatever. Bliss, since she's come back, is amazing. Period. She's amazing. I love her. Like, I liked her before, but she is really crisp right now.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Really, really crisp.
Every match
I love watching her wrestle. So she's really good right now. It was a fun match. It wasn't the greatest match, but I will say Bliss is at her best when she goes into vicious mode. That little Sister Abigail Wyatt kind of vibe that she can get from time to time, where it's just like, I will destroy you now, and you're not going to like it. But she kind of gets in that mode. It's so much better for her character when she does that, because I'm just like, she could kill anybody. I don't know. Just let her do her thing, you know? Like, you
Yeah,
go, girl.
I like the storytelling in that match too, where Alexa hits Charlotte by mistake, but they continue to work through it, and at the end, again, she kind of redeems herself because after Roxanne hits the pop rocks on Charlotte, that save she gave, that was you talk about timing when she leapt and grabbed
Yes.
Roxanne. What would she give, like a reverse DDT or some type of neck breaker, whatever
I
she
think
used
it
to
was
bring.
a neck breaker.
It was.
She flipped in the air and grabbed her and did a neck breaker out of it. It was amazing. It
You know
was,
what I liked this weekend too with WWE and their production? They didn't show like they have a bad habit of showing stuff get set up. A lot of stuff the cameras had it so you didn't see it coming. That
yep.
Lyra putting Becky through the table, like all of a sudden Becky's laying on the table. We'll talk about that, but I'm just little things throughout the weekend. It really for the fans at home were just like they made it so it was more of a surprise. Like you were just like, oh shit, like out of nowhere someone come flying in. So really good on the camera work and production was top notch as always,
It's
but little
funny.
things this
It's
weekend.
funny you say that, because prior to that, I was starting to notice. I'm like, you guys are getting a little lazy with the camera work, and I'm seeing everything get set up, right? I've seen
Yeah,
a little too much wrestlers lately, and it actually happened at SummerSlam too.
Jay and
The
Roman.
little
Roman was knocked outside the ring. He was standing in the corner on the floor for like 3 minutes, just resting against the barrier between him and the crowd. Like I don't know if he was used this term last week. Maybe he saw his old buddy Joe the Slappy in the first row and they were talking or something. But then finally, like all of a sudden, then like you see Roman just walk up to take his spot. So yeah, we never should, and the fans at home never should have saw that. Never should have saw Roman just chilling out outside. Either Roman's is
it's
down on his back outside, or you don't show him because you just like I was even saying like. What the hell's Roman doing just standing there? Like he should get up in the corner and try to get a tag.
Yeah, it's not just that though. A lot of the corner stuff where somebody's setting up a like flip or whatever, you'll see some people do it better than others. Like kind of, how they shimmy into the proper position. But yeah, they've been better about it. But they were better about it this weekend. But they have been getting kind of
Yeah.
lazy with it. And you keep on showing us how the trick is done. Damn it. But yeah, I like it. I think they're going to be tag team for a while. Honestly, I think that it's working for both of them, and it's better for both of them, especially Charlotte. We'll get into it Monday, but like her saying like, "This is the first time I've ever heard you deserve it." All right, cool. It really made It's really helping Charlotte a lot. Not that she needs help overall, but she needs. It's almost like, how like in games they give you ratings and certain characteristics. It's like Charlotte Flair, heel, 100%. Charlotte Flair, in-ring wrestler, 100%. Charlotte Flair as a face, 50%. You know what I mean? And it's like, now that she's with like Alexa, it's like, oh, we're up to like 80. Like, okay, cool.
That's a beat.
You know,
But again, shoot, I just lost my train. Oh, something you were mentioning quite a bit over the weekend, talking to me through text, was like that these two are going to really elevate the tag team titles for the women's side, and that's not,
which it needs.
which is not pooping on Roxanne and Raquel. I mean, these are two first ballot Hall of Famer, like established decades going on stars that are now the tag champions. I mean, being the world tag team champion is not a demotion. It's not like, to me, it's not lower than the IC of the U.S. title. I think it's in between that and the world. You're the champion of the world in the tag team division, so you're the top team.
I mean, think about it this way. At least big picture wise. In order to get those tag team titles off of them, you have to beat two of the best female wrestlers that have wrestled in WWE.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
period. Like, you have to do that. So it automatically elevates those titles and you give them a good run. What was the problem with the women's title before? It was here, it was there, they flipped there, it flipped there. It was like pancakes, man. Everybody was flipping them over and over and over again, and it never got any continuity or build. And there was no team like putting some gravitas behind those titles, and that title's been lacking a long time.
It has. Well,
and
they've
then
had
it was
some
also
bad.
cursed.
Yes.
It
So,
was also
which might affect my next point, because I was just going to say you've had Charlotte and Alexa both come back from like Charlotte from a major knee injury. Alexa had a baby, and then I think she was dinged up too, right? As well, or
yeah,
getting
it was
no.
the baby.
So here's the thing: you bring them back, especially if you're worried about Charlotte's knee. As a team, you got a partner, so you're not in there doing 15 minutes solid. You're breaking up that time period, that time frame. So a little less wear and tears. I think it's a win all the way around. But hey, we got a lot more to go.
I know. It happens, man.
It,
All right,
yeah.
Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross. All right, here's the deal. I hate the ending. I get supposedly Karrion Kross and Scarlett's contract is up at this weekend. We'll find out. I don't know. I don't care. But it's a waste of Cross putting Sammy over. I have officially hit the I hate Sammy's character stage of my stages of decline as far as it goes. I used to be a big Sami Zayn guy. I have a Sami Zayn shirt. But like it's just gotten stale and I'm sick of it. And I'm tired of the plucky underdog. I'm tired of they could have done so much more. So let's talk about the pipe. All right. Scarlett gives him the pipe. If he uses the pipe, you got a story. If him tossing the pipe out and still winning was such a shit ending because you undermine the entire story you were trying to tell, in my opinion. And Cole covered it up with like something like, sometimes being good does pay off. All right, thank you, Saturday morning special and, the more you know, or whatever the hell it is. It's like, fine. Thanks for reading Rainbowing this, but like, it didn't do anything for me. And I thought, what a waste. What a waste. That feud could have been something, and they shit all over that feud. It's terrible.
Yeah, and they killed Karrion Kross. Like you said, if this feud would have happened in the mid 80s or late 80s or even the early 90s, then Sammy doing what he did, everybody would have went nuts over it. But people have changed now. People like that character with an edge. 90% of the people wanted Sammy to hit Karrion Kross. I don't know if that says anything about our society, but back in the 80s, everybody be like, oh no, put it down. You can't do that. So society's changed. So this would have gone over like gravy in the 80s. But hey, 35, 40 years on to nowadays, it just fell flat.
But during the match, he showed indications of getting a little. I use the word feral in my notes, and I thought, my God, how great would a feral Sami Zayn truly be? Like a Sami Zayn where mid-match, 3/4 of the way through a match, he just loses his shit and he just goes ape crap on you. What a change! What a change that would be. And he just keeps on beating you down. You have him get DQ'd a couple of times. Character change. But the problem is, no, we get the lather, rinse, repeat,
And he's vanilla. It's vanilla.
Yes, vanilla as vanilla can be. And the worst part about it is, so you and I were talking about this while I was at the store before this podcast. You found a meme that basically said what I've been saying, which is it's kind of dunzo with his character. I had to clear myself for that one. The one I saw, similar context, except somebody said he needs to win the Rumble next year and be in the main event of WrestleMania and win the World Heavyweight Championship. No.
No.
No. No, 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 no. Unless you do a radical character change, the answer is no. No, 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 no. Sorry. Like, I can't live with that. Like, I don't even have. The only time I had interest in him being a world champion was like when he was up against Roman. And, stuff like that. But even then, it was
when he fought him up in Canada, right? When
in Montreal.
Yeah, in Montreal, yep.
But no.
The Bloodline stuff was fun though too. Yeah, when he was with the Bloodline, like he was fun then. But now ever since, he's just. I guess if you're like 8 years old, he's like really cool. Maybe I don't know, but I just.
Well, it's just God.
Yeah.
It's like being vanilla without charisma,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? Like when you had the goodiest of goody two shoes, they at least had charisma.
Yeah.
And that's what he's missing. Like he has I'll say aura, for lack of a better word, but he doesn't have it. Like he doesn't have that thing where you're just like, I get it, and he's so cool. It's so cool to be him. And like, honestly, I watch him. I'm like, this is getting annoying.
Well, the
Like,
good
I'm such a good guy.
was it only went 8 minutes.
Yeah,
Shade
but
over 8
again,
minutes.
you buried Cross.
You
That
did.
whole story's dead, and now whatever happens, happens. Whatever. Like the plucky underdog will go on to be a plucky underdog against somebody else, and he'll overcome, and blah 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 blah. Lather, rinse, repeat.
Well, the fans surely didn't appreciate it on the Sunday night post show when they were unanimously chanting, "We want Cross."
You want a Brock? We give him to you.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Meanwhile, half of them are holding cross signs up. Anyway, but yeah, well, that's for another talk. But still, yeah, that was a letdown. I mean, your first 2 matches were really solid, really good for getting the crowd in. This kind of took some air out of the tires. And then we got Tiffy and Jade.
Yep.
What'd you think of that?
It wasn't a bad match.
No,
I didn't think it was bad. It was entertaining. It was a little short. I think there was a couple of spots where it got a little, I guess the word is clunky. It wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination.
well, that's why they kept it short, I think, because I don't
think
think those two could do 15 minutes or 12. I think 7's
I don't
good.
think they have good chemistry, which is really weird to say because Jade's a powerhouse, but I've seen Stratton and Nia Jax have chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And they had good chemistry, and it's like really weird to be like, well, she's big too, like height wise, you know, because she's got to wrestle bigger than, which was Vega's problem too. Like Vega had to wrestle bigger because she's small, and you know,
I don't think it was chemistry. I think it was the lack of experience. They're not on that experience level yet. They're both
maybe
young.
it's fine.
So they're going to grow into it. So I think, yeah, you keep it at 7 minutes. That's long enough to tell the story. You don't have to worry about, because I think if you would have had that go twice that long or even 5 minutes longer, I think they would have gotten clunkier. They would have got lost in the shuffle. So you keep it at 7 minutes. It kept it tight. It kept it moving. We saw some good stuff out of there. I was happy with it. It was solid. It was better than I thought it was actually going to be. So
Yeah, no, it was good.
I'll take
and
that.
then, yeah, I'll take it. I'm not going to belabor this one though. All right, Jelly Roll, Randy Orton, Logan Paul, and Drew. So we've already kind of talked about this, and especially look, credit to Drew and Logan Paul. They had fun. You could tell they were having fun with it, and like you could also tell that, you know, everybody involved worked hard to, I don't want to say protect, set Jelly Roll up for success. You know, Randy got the offense in.
They didn't go easy on Jelly Roll at all. I mean, he took, I mean, the big spot, but even all
they
the
were
little
laying
stuff.
in.
Yeah, and I was glad to see that.
I like that he got his ass beat. It's not that I don't like him. I like that you could kind of see where his skill level was. He's in there with top tier talent, and like they kind of ran around him a little bit, and that's fine. You know, the whole point of that match did exactly what it was supposed to do. You know, but that effing table spot was so good.
Yeah, and I mean, he landed right on him too. I mean, landed. I mean,
Perfect.
Yeah,
He
definitely.
torqued in the air too to get that lined up.
Yeah, he
Jelly
did.
Roll was not across the table. He was like this on the table, and Logan Paul freaking rotated to like land perfect. He landed.
Yeah,
Credit to all, man.
I didn't like the position Jelly Roll was laying. When he was laying there, I'm just thinking that's a great way to screw your back or your pelvis. Because he was just kind of hanging off there. He would have been better. But hey, it worked. Everybody survived. I love the fact that they gave signs out to the fans on the floor seats. It says Logan Paul's an outsider. There's just like great little touch there. Yeah, but I loved it. I loved at the end. People can complain and say that after Jelly like broke from the trainers and got ringside, he kind of recovered too quick. Whatever. It was fun.
Still a celebrity
I'm
match,
I'm not going to critique wrestling quality in a celebrity match. It was.
I am gonna say this, and I think I said it last week too. The wrestlers that were in that because they wanted to be in that. Like, that's an important thing because, like, a lot of the IWC just whines and complains about Jelly Roll's participation because they're like, he took a spot from a regular wrestler. No, he brought a shit ton of eyeballs to wrestling,
Yeah.
which was the whole point. And then he also brought a shit ton of... You brought in people that cared about his weight loss. You brought in people that love his music. You brought in a lot of eyeballs.
You did.
That watched it just for him. I guarantee you they watched it just for him. They're like, oh my God, he lost all this weight. Let's see what he does. Oh my God, I love his music. I can't believe he's doing this. He's been a big fan. Let's do it. The match was what it needed to be, and it wasn't too overdone. It was actually great.
There was nothing goofy. There was nothing goofy. There was like no goofy spots. Because in celebrity matches, sometimes they put goofy, silly stuff in. None of that. It was a straight match. You know, all the way through. Like, I loved it.
And it's funny because you and I sparked into this whole train of thought over text. So Matt and I started having this debate. Who's the best celebrity wrestlers? Like, I think we came to a consensus on Mr. T was number one. And the big reason Mr. T was number one was when first off, Mr. T was doing stuff. But pop culture wise, Hulk Hogan and Mr. T were two of the biggest dudes in the 80s, man. Like, bigger than big. Like, pop culture wise. So, like, that was huge. You and I kind of flim-flam between Bad Bunny and Jelly Roll because, you know, we're old curmudgeons, and until he popped up on the WWE radar, neither Matt nor I knew who the F Bad Bunny was. It's not my music. My bad. Anyways, and then, you know, Jelly Roll. So, and Jelly Roll gets third simply because, or we're back and forth. It's like 2A and 2B.
Yeah, so I have Jelly Roll second, maybe Bad Bunny third. If we're going to talk about those three, you have them different. But I think more people knew Jelly.
It comes down to the grading curve, right? Like, if you think it's eyeballs based on their music, you know, their fans. But, I mean, there's also an argument to be made that, like, in the, you know, the Bad Bunny crowd probably also leans pretty heavily into WWE. So it's like, you know, it like I said, they're both tied for second.
Apples and oranges.
Like, honestly. Yeah, it really kind of is. So, but no, it was a big deal. And, like, you know, that's how big it was. Like, he had a huge impact on that SummerSlam. And I get it, man, if you're a wrestling purist, but you know what? Your bigger PLEs, you need to shake it up a little bit. I love me some good wrestling, but if you're going to make me sit through, you know, a gazillion hours of wrestling, like, think about when it was one night. I would have killed for a Jelly Roll match because I would have been like, oh, finally something to change it up a little bit, you know? We can see 5 stars over and over and over again, but after a while it gets meh. That's why they went to 2 nights, which maybe Royal Rumble is now.
I'm hearing Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, and Money in the Bank by 27 are going to be all 2 nights.
The big 4+1.
Big 4+. Hey, that's a good way to put it. I like that. The big 4+1.
The big 4+1.
Yeah, that's good. I like
or
that.
Big 4 plus Money in the Bank.
We better patent that shit before WWE picks it up.
Yeah, it's coming out next week as soon as this pod posts. So, I want to be clear, folks. Like, honestly, we are just bullshitting.
Yeah, we do not have delusions of grandeur that, like, that Road Dogg or Shawn Michaels or Bruce Pritchard is, like, listening to our podcast. If they do, great, but we have no, Man, we're 2 dudes sitting outside an RV just bullshitting about wrestling, okay? That's what we are.
But we're committed.
We are. We're committed.
We're committed. I'm in a whole different state, and I have a mobile setup right now. But, you know, I'm going to start holding my little webcam like freaking Logan Paul. Like, you know, taking drone. I'm going to have a drone shot fed into our
Pretty
feed
soon,
now.
that or our pop-up screen isn't going to say if we had the pencil. It's like, welcome to New York, welcome to Florida, welcome to Maryland, welcome to here. That should be the theme song for this podcast, Holiday Road, because it's like someone's
My
always...
God, Total deviation from wrestling before we get into Saturday's main event. I have convinced myself I am Clark Griswold. In some way, shape, or form, I am Clark Griswold with these family vacations, right? Like, I'm going to take you guys to the NASCAR. And, like, you just want everybody to have a great time. And I was like, holy shit, I've become Clark Griswold, man. I'm like, we're going on vacation. It's going to be great. I'm going to plan everything. Like,
Except
okay.
you're not wrecking the car or burning the tree down or killing a cat or something like that. Yet.
Hey, Dover, we got stuck in our campsite in a
Okay.
lot of mud. So, stuff's happened. I mean, if you were to watch this trying to get out of it, it probably would have been deemed comical.
You know why you got
So,
stuck in the mud? Shitter was full.
Was it rained?
No, shitter was full.
Shitter was full. One more thing, I'm going to get off the sidebar. I actually got asked. Katie goes, did you empty the tanks? I said, no, I'm trying to pull the damn thing out so I can go empty the damn tanks. Like, where did I go?
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, unless she wanted you to commit like 17 OSHA violations or something like that, and you could have dumped them right there.
Well, I mean, in fairness, if I had much more water in my freshwater tank, I could have dumped the fresh. But
yeah,
neither here nor there.
yeah, it was still.
Right.
You were getting stuck regardless.
This is what you come to this podcast for: wrestling talk and RV recommendations. It's great.
And other sidebar conversations.
Nobody is going to give you the insight on RVing like Matt and I are.
Yeah.
And wrestling together. And podcasting.
Yeah.
Podcasting, camping, and yeah, we got you covered. Oh, and a smidge of NASCAR. Look at that. We're killing it. Killing it, I tell you.
It's through trial and error.
It's big time. Hey, can we splice this video with this video? Cool.
Every week when I get set up, I'm like, all right, what's going to happen this week? Like, we're going to have like a plague of locusts or something this week or what?
Right. So. It's here, you know.
Yeah. But it's fun.
Chrome will update, Starlink will update, whatever. All right, so CM Punk and Gunther. Great match. I think I'm going to say something that's going to come off a little rough on CM Punk, and I don't mean it to. For his age, Gunther and Gunther's pace as a wrestler is so perfect for CM Punk. So perfect. Like, that match was built for CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And the pace of the match, because we know Gunther's slow, methodical, he's brilliant. Some people shit on the match. They were like, oh my God, no. Like, no, it was a throwback and it was great. It was a great effing match. We'll take the end as a separate talking point, but I honestly think Gunther broke his nose on the flying elbow from Punk. I don't think he did it when he hit the table.
So reports are he came in with an injury. It was reported. Now, then again, one of the people reporting it was Meltzer, but there was a report that
never mind.
He was due to have some time off. This was before the show was even started or that day, that he's had some issues with his nose that required surgery, that he was going to go away for a while. So, or a little bit. But
orbital something or other. I don't know. They announced it Monday, but it is what it is.
I love this match. Especially being an old school guy, we are seeing a lot more of the old school psychology, but this match was like cat and mouse. It was like a chess match. There's one spot where Gunther gets CM Punk in an abdominal stretch, and he's like grinding the elbow, grinding the knuckles, but the whole time, like, CM Punk isn't just sitting there selling it. He's selling it, but he's trying to work it. And then, like, he kind of works out, and then he gets an abdominal stretch, and then they up wrestling. Great spot there. And then Gunther got Punk in the sharpshooter. And then Punk flipped it. And I thought he was going to throw Gunther in a figure four. And it looked like he was trying to. I think he was trying to do that. And I think he just, like, 86'd it. And he just worked it around and then reversed it. But, like, stuff like that you don't see a lot anymore. And it was so good in this match. Because it was like, it kind of showed, and before the match happened, the last couple weeks, Gunther was cutting promos saying how similar him and Punk are. They both think they're the best in the world. They both have massive egos. So they were building on them being kind of similar yet different, and you saw that in the match. But I was so happy they gave it 30 minutes. This was a match that needed 30 minutes. The story it told, I love the counter wrestling that they did. The pacing was great. There really wasn't a lot of silly stuff in it. I was really happy with the match, and I'm not getting to the big spot yet because I know you want to kind of get into that.
Yeah, so I have 2 notes I want to bring up. I had a bunch on this one, but well, 3 actually. 1, Gunther transitions into power moves really effing fast. Like, he can spin a move right into like a power bomb like nobody's business.
Yeah.
2, Gunther is so inventive and clever in finding ways to make the simplest shit look painful as hell. Like, he'll do stuff, right? You know, like, just, man, it's such a simple thing that he does, but he makes it look so explosive and painful.
And you know what's great,
It's
too?
just-
He's not graceful at all. He almost looks
No.
clumsy and awkward the way he
Yes.
moves. So I don't know if that just makes it look more devastating rather than maybe because it's different. Because a lot of guys are so refined that everything's crisp. Not saying that Gunther's not, but it doesn't look it because he's like a little clumsy and awkward. So when he slams you down, it's kind of like as you fall, he just kind of lands on top of you, which like not only is he hitting the guy with a power bomb, but then he's landing on top of you and folding you up in the save movement. So it's just I don't know if it's intentional what he does or if that he's just not a graceful person.
I'll give you a good example of what I mean by simple but effective.
Mm-hmm.
At one point in that match, he gets Punk tied up in the ropes, and then he shoves Punk's tied top, feet on the top,
Yeah, he's in the trio
and
well.
like, yeah, and then Gunther just takes his freaking foot and puts it under freaking Punk's chin, and starts stretching him out. But normally you get the little kick or whatever. No, he was just down there like stretching dude out by his chin, and I was like, man, this dude is so good at it. It's nothing complicated. Again,
That was that
and
when he
it
was
was
hanging
just-
outside the ring like his head was
Yes.
Yeah. Did you hear the crowd buzz when he did that? Because it was not an impact move. He was just basically
No.
like stretching him, and the crowd like popped for it big time. They were like holy crap! Like I was shocked because like the crowd got into that move so much, but it looked like it hurt.
It's simple, but it's so effective. Like, that's the thing with Gunther. Like, very simple, very effective. Only problem is, we've talked about this 6 million times. He's done better. I still think he needs a it thing, but that's fine. All right. Punk wins. Woo! Much rejoicing. They let it burn for a couple of minutes, too. We get a little snot bubbles coming off of CM Punk from his tears and his crying. And, he's finally done it. He's finally hit the top again. And Seth Rollins' music hits. I am going to break down for you why this is so effing brilliant, and then we'll get into the kayfabe side. 1, Punk's music, or Seth's music hits. You're like, oh my god, he's coming to cash in. But he comes out on crutches with Paul Heyman. And you're watching him in crutches. And you're like, okay, so this is just I see you, you see me, I got the case still, I'm coming for you as soon as I can kind of deal. That's your first reaction. I guarantee you it's almost everybody's first reaction. Keep in mind, this is the level of detail Seth went to for this. He was in dress pants, not wrestling pants, dress pants. He was in street shoes, not sneakers, nothing wrestling attire. He was in straight up dress street shoes. And he had his typical frizzly, sparkly top that Seth Rollins does. The level of detail that they went to. Now you're like, okay, he did the I see you, you see me, blah, blah, blah. And he starts crutching to the backstage. And you're like, okay, that's what it was. And when he stops, I saw a different angle. LaGreca videoed this, from Busted Open. He videoed it while he was there. And his angle was actually pretty cool because he was up in one of the boxes. But so he gets to the point, he stops, and you're like, is he just going to do a we're all writing this as it goes in our heads, right? Is he just going to do a look back? Nope. Crutches go out, and you're like, shit, he's down. And he turns around, and you're like, shit, he's taking off the brace. Clip, clip, clip. Brace toss, sunglasses toss. You're like, this is happening. And it was like, holy crap. Runs down, grabs Jessica Carr, beats the crap out of Punk. Punk tries to like whack him with the belt, just totally misses and flails. And then goes for his finisher. That fails because Seth fights out of it. And lo and behold, Seth's your champion. But my God, the level of detail that went into that was just phenomenal. You have to appreciate that is storytelling at its finest. Like, nobody is talking about it, but like his wardrobe choice for coming out for that cash in was phenomenal because it left that era of mystery up until he threw off the crutches, took off the brace, took off his jacket, and then you're like, crap, this is happening. So, well freaking done. It just freaking, Ruse of the Century and Heist of the Century, man. Like, I agree with Cole, man. Like, woof. It was so well done.
Before I go into my I told you so, I will say also the points I loved about the cash in. It wasn't during the Gunther Punk match. They let that match run to its entirety, which I thought was great because there's been other times like when Naomi cashed in, we thought it was interrupting a really good Rhea Io match, but that was okay there. That would have been horrible Saturday night because I think you have such a good match going, and plus, Seth always said that he was never going to let CM Punk have the title. All right, he let him have it for 5 minutes, which to me is even worse is worse for Punk than not getting it at all, because Seth by not coming in is like, okay, have you won your match, have your 5 minutes of glory, like you're just getting it like long enough to look at it and think about it, what you're going to do. And I'm gonna
didn't even get the side plates on.
No, I'm going to piss all over your parade. Plates. And then the great thing was, too, like, the only thing is, like, Paul Heyman kind of gave it away by, like, when Seth started walking back, Paul stayed to the front. I think Paul should have edged back, but him standing there.
Nope.
But as soon as Seth came out, I knew he was cashing in. I knew he was cashing in.
We all did, but the level of detail that went into it, though, was so brilliant. The fact that Paul stayed out there, I think, made sense, though, because it's just... You got to remember, the focal point in this conversation is the briefcase, right? So Paul's still out there holding it like a boombox from that stupid chick movie in the 80s, right? Like, playing Peter Gabriel or something like that.
Say anything? Whatever the one with John Cusack, sure. John Cusack or whatever.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. He's just holding it like the.
Every week we got to get at least one or two movie references in. That's the thing now with this show. We have to like bring the movie thing in.
Actually, woohoo! Tangent time. Not tangent, but sidebar. I actually made my kids watch The Great Outdoors for the first time yesterday.
Good on you.
There's certain movies that are summer classics for me, and Great Outdoors is one of them.
And how'd the kids like it?
They didn't complain, so I guess pretty good.
That's good. They didn't go hiding back in their tablets and their phones. They sat and watched. Your kids are good anyway.
Because
they'll endure stuff for the greater good of the family.
Well, I got them back on like older movie kicks because they went back and first off, I was appalled that my own children. I'm a horrible parent. Never saw Happy Gilmore, let alone Happy Gilmore 2. So they went back to watch. They're like, "Oh, we got to watch Happy Gilmore," and I'm like, "What do you mean you got to watch Happy Gilmore? You guys haven't watched it in a while?" They're like, "No, we've never watched it." I was like, "I'm a terrible father."
Actually, after I watched Happy Gilmore 2, I wish I would have went back and saw Happy Gilmore again, just because I haven't seen it in a while. But did you finally see Happy Gilmore 2?
Yep, you got Wi-Fi'd, Matt. I didn't get any of that.
No, I said, did you finally watch Happy Gilmore 2?
Yeah, so Matt's camper network is doing camper network things.
I can hear you fine. I can see you okay.
Well, I can hear you now. You've
Okay.
been frozen for about 2 minutes, but you were coming in broken and unreadable.
Okay, well, now that
Harvey terms.
Yes. Anyway, Real quick, did you see Happy Gilmore 2 finally? You got to watch it this week. Got it. It's good. You'll like it.
They were watching. I was watching wrestling. So
yeah. Now that we don't have 14 hours of wrestling this weekend to watch, including the pre and post shows.
Yeah, except I'm going to be at NASCAR all week. I got 4 races this weekend.
True story. That's right.
Yeah, lots going on.
So overall, Sean, night one. What's your overall view of night one? Like, if you were to give night one a grade, a letter grade, what would you give it?
Man, you put me on the spot. I don't usually grade. So.
No, I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna give it between a B and a B plus for me.
I'll give it a B plus. I can go B plus. I think you lose some points with Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross.
You do,
I think you push even on Stratton and Jade. I think you gain points on Jelly Roll's match, and you definitely gain a lot of points on CM Punk's match. So, and the Reigns.
You had a good opener.
The Bronze match.
Yeah.
Yep. It
opener.
all worked.
Yep.
Like they weren't interstellar like matches or like, oh my god, but like they were all great, and like I'd say a B plus, a solid B plus.
All right, cool.
So
sorry about putting you on the spot, but
no, it's fine. All right, let's get into Sunday, man. I think we kind of hit Saturday. All right, so Women's World Championship. We got Io, we got Rhea, and we got Naomi. So Naomi ends up winning. Just a fun match. Her dad playing her out as she was coming out. I didn't know it was her dad. I was more happy until it, and especially even more happy when they told me it was her dad. I was like, I'm just happy Naomi's getting an entrance, like a custom entrance, right? Like a big PLE entrance. I was really happy she was getting one. And because her heel work is just next level right now. She is killing it. And oh my God, and I enjoyed the match. It was a good opener for day 2.
I thought the match was a lot of fun. I liked where Naomi didn't want to wrestle, and she's like, "Okay, Io and Rhea, beat yourselves up."
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh no, we're not starting until you're in here." And then they had all that stuff. But the Io and Rhea stuff together, oh my gosh, that was so good. And again, we're not downplaying Naomi at all. It's just Io and Rhea have that chemistry when they work together. Like, when they're together, good stuff happens. And we saw that in the opener. And then I like the fact that Naomi kind of used some strategy. She just kind of came in at the end and picked up the pieces and took the pin, over Rhea. So, really well done. She was playing the smart role of a champion, biding her time, waiting for her moment, grabbed her moment, got the pin. Didn't take a lot of the abuse in that match. That was Io and Rhea. They took a lot of the damage in that match. Naomi walks out of there taking minimal damage and still the champion. So whoever booked the match, put it together, they did a really good job with that match. That was a great way to start off the show, too.
So after that, we get the tag TLC match from hell. And I'm not going to crap on it because I loved it. I had a lot of fun with it. But it was far too many teams in there. I think 6 is the max you can do. And even 6 it takes a lot of creativity to pull off. But having 6 teams, 12 people in there, good Lord. Now, I'm happy with the result. I wanted the Wyatts to win. And the main reason I wanted the Wyatts to win is I still believe the Wyatts should be playing keep away, right? You guys all want this. You covet it. You stab each other in the back for it. And SmackDown, I had the Wyatts cutting a promo, bro. I had the Wyatts going, Johnny Gargano, you covet these titles so much more. You put your wife at risk, the mother of your child, and look what happened, and show a replay of her getting, because that was a bad, I don't think she took it right. The landing, I don't think she did. Because it looked like she led with her leg, and when it happened, I was like, that's going to hurt.
I would have wondered if
she hit it
do you think it would have been better if the ladder wasn't gimmick to break? Because, she just went flying, right through to the floor.
No, because she would have snapped her femur.
Yeah.
She would have snapped her femur, dude.
Did her leg go between the rungs? Because I couldn't get to see that on the
No, it looked like to me when she came down, the way her body was, like her one leg was leading when she hit the ladder, and I was just like, ooh, that's not gonna feel good. And she was down for a minute. But again, like from a promo angle, you just all Wyatt's got to do is play keep away.
Yeah.
I love. First off, let me be 100% clear that the Wyatts didn't open the interference can.
No.
They were not the first ones to go there. So any interference that happened after that, that was all brought on. They weren't the first ones to go there. But I love that they interfered. I love that they all interfered. I love that they all played a part in that because it furthers their bonding and their storyline. So I think there's a lot here with the Wyatts that can be done.
Yeah.
Putting tag titles on them was a little weird. A lot of people shit on it because they're like, oh, the weakest team won. I was like, that's not the point. Like, okay, Street Profits win. And then Fraxium wins. And then, no. With the Wyatts, they all got to nip at each other. That's the whole point of this whole story, right? Like, I get it, but, like, you got to work with us here. Like, there's a little bit more to it than just my favorite team won. No, but it came out great. I liked it a lot.
The synchronized table destruction spot, like with, I don't know. I mean, there was 12 people in the match, but like 17 people got put through tables. It was wild. Every time you turn, again, it was like the cameras were trying to catch up.
They were giving the stats on the carnage, like like chairs were flying everywhere, like ladders were everywhere. Bro, they took TLC, like they put exclamation points on all three portions of that. They were like, lots of tables. It's gonna be, Trump is gonna be big. It's gonna be great. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
I just wonder if Slim Jim
most
was
tables you ever seen.
It almost got to the point I wonder, like, is Slim Jim donating like $1,000 to charity for every table being broken or something? Like they're just ringing up the charity bill out in that match. But it was fun. To me, nothing will ever beat the original TLC 1 and 2. But for 12 people in the ring plus extra stuff, I mean, it was fun. It was a spot.
That was a lot.
It was a spot fest, but it was
like
in a fun way. That's a match that's supposed to be a spot fest.
You know what that was? I think I'm onto something, Matt. I think I'm onto something. We're going to get rid of Battle Royales. They're going to become Battle TLCs. We were halfway there.
Yeah.
There had to be at least 15 people involved in that. Well, wait, no. 6 teams, that's 12. So, plus, 3 more Wyatts, BFAB. Man, we're up to 16. We're past halfway.
The only thing,
yeah.
The only thing that was screwed up was when they had the ladder in the ring. It was way offset from the titles, and after you saw the bump Candace took, you understood why. But I'm sitting there like, move the freaking ladder, and I'm like, they're building for a spot, but like, it was so egregiously off from under the belt. It wasn't so bad with Candace being up there. It was when like all the other ladies started just climbing up the same ladder, like kind of made it look a little stupid at time. Like, okay, like you're nowhere close to the ladder.
Heat of the moment, Matt.
I know.
It's all heat of the moment.
I know the adrenaline was rushing, the sweat was flowing, tables were breaking.
I saw a ladder, I saw belts, I went up. It was a fun match.
It was
like Ciampa hanging upside down on the thing.
That was like crazy.
I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, man. Like, good for him. What happens if he's found a way to unattach it and like detach him like that? I would be like, he deserves it. Like, if he would have found a way to pull that off, like hanging there and still unclipped it, I was like, if you pull that off, yep, you win.
I was waiting for him to crash like Wile E. Coyote though, hanging up there. He was way up too. But yeah.
All right, let's move to the next one. IC title match. Becky Lynch and Lyra. Yep. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was too long. Way too effing long. And then, like, there was some cool spots in there. Now, this is where the military guy in me ruins all my kayfabe. As soon as she put flexi cuffs on her, I was like, she ain't cutting through those. how the hell is she going to get those off? And next thing you know, like halfway through the match, it's like, whoopsie, I did the magic trick.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm really tied up. And I was like, all right, you kind of ruined it there. And then like this whole,
Yeah, and that was about
I
4 or
don't know.
5 minutes. It looked like they were trying to figure out. It's almost like they forgot what they were doing in there. It got clumsy, and
Yeah, I just wanted it. I was like,
take 5 or
I would
6
have been,
minutes off that match and get rid of the flexi cuffs. It would have been a lot better.
no, the flexi cuffs were fine. I just
But
don't.
what I'm saying is, once they came off, even if it was an inadvertent, she should have just, hey, let's just keep rolling. The cuffs came off because, yeah. Well, the bad thing was the camera guy was right there. If the camera guy hadn't caught it, she probably could have got away with it. But
Well, I think the thing with the flexi cuffs that really annoyed me was like she was doing some cool stuff with her hands bound, which was fine and cool. But the whole point is she got her ass beat, and it kind of ruined it. She kind of went super Lyra on this one, and it was like, okay, but you like got your ass beat when you were zip tied, and yeah, I don't know. Like it was a little much. The match should have been shorter. You could have probably got away with Becky getting the win without even Bailey stuff, but I know that's storyline, so I'll deal. But yeah, I don't have anything to remark about. Right person went over. I think Becky's already elevating that title, and now you're getting a lot of. It's no offense to Lyra, and I think Julia is going to suffer from the same fate, which is we know you're cool, but we're not all the way in yet. We
yeah,
need a little establishment, right? Like, so Becky getting the thing, we're like, oh, I know you. And yeah, you having a title looks right. So I'm comfortable with that. And then people challenging you, it looks right and stuff like that. So it's what it is. I'm not complaining, but I do like Becky having the belt. It's just like the Charlotte and Alexa Bliss thing. It's like, we're not saying that you're doing a bad job, but we're going to put these over on these guys so it makes it a little bit bigger. And it's the same with the IC. So nothing bad. All right. Matt, Solo, Jacob, in a cage. And what did I text you?
how the hell do you fuck up a cage match?
I, to this day, have yet to ever see an abomination that was that cage match. Cage, barely used. Barely. I didn't need blood, but I needed beatings. I needed flailings. I needed people going. I wanted to hear fence. I wanted to see fence marks on people. And it was a wrestling match that was inside a cage.
Yeah,
Like it didn't the cage the cage didn't really get used as a weapon. There was no really kind of cool spots. And then the whole point of putting them in an effing cage was to avoid outside interference, but yet we got outside interference. Like, what are we doing, dude? What are we doing? I don't know. I got nothing, man. I got nothing. Like, it made no sense. It was crap. And then they all got in the cage to get walloped by Jacob it so Solo could escape. I don't know. The storytelling didn't make sense. The execution didn't make sense. They just effed up a steel cage match. It was a waste of a steel cage match. And this was the first point where I went, I wish this was on night one. They should have put this on night one.
yeah, that's one of the ones they could have moved over.
I'm already stiffed out.
Yeah, exactly. I kept texting you throughout the whole Sunday night. Too many weapons. Too many weapons. Yeah, cage matches. We talk about how do you screw up a cage match, but I think the problem is some of these guys, and Fatu and Solo are guys that do a lot of work on the outside of the ring. They use a lot of space. They'll do dives outside the ring and this and that. Well, now you've kept them inside a 20 by 20. Maybe it just clashed with their style. Maybe they just had a hard time working within the confines of the cage because it limited them more on what they really could do. Because these are guys that'll do, moonsaults to the outside and table spots and all that. And now you've kind of put them in a smaller space and try to expect them to do stuff. But I still think there wasn't a lot of attempts over the top. There was one. That's when Solo.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
It just
they
was
should
so
like Solo asking for the door to open and then just kind of walking out. Okay, I get it, but I think there should have been somewhere like after he did a move, he should have bolted to the opposite corner and started trying to sprint up, to escape the cage. They should have done more than that.
But his guys are trying to pull him out, and
It's just
then he flops on the ground like a fish, and then it's
and
just
then the
like,
handcuffs. Like we just had flexi cuffs the last match, and like they call it handcuffs. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like, am I watching WWE? Am I watching some like squiggly porn like bondage movie from like?
but it did nothing. It did
No.
nothing.
And Solo broke
It
him
did
off in
like
10 seconds. Like he just ripped him off. And like
yeah,
it was
no,
dumb.
it did nothing. It did nothing. The whole point is like you handcuff him. You didn't beat his ass. You didn't torture him. You didn't drag it out. Nope. I handcuffed him. Do 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 do. I'm gonna go walk out like Damian Priest, who was in the last cage match that I shit on the ending. But at least that match was good
Yeah.
until the ending,
Right.
and we know why now. But
No.
you know what I'm saying? Like this was just shit.
I didn't feel
And
like
it's
Fatu brought it
heartbreaking.
either. I don't want to blame. So I don't think Fatu brought it.
I don't think he was being. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
I
he
don't
hit
know.
he hit the
I don't
cool
wanna
spot
say it.
after the match with the moonsault off the top.
But
of
it
the,
was after the fact. Who
Right.
cares?
Yeah, he just during the match, like, I mean, they were 2 minutes in. He's like laying on the mat, acting like he's dead. I just there was no flow to that match at all. Like there was nothing that
No,
really.
it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
And feel free to crap
All right,
on
let's
us all
move
you
on.
want about that, but bad is bad, and that was not good.
That was shit. Period. All right. IC Championship, Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. This was a blast. Dom did heel stuff, literally. Like he got his heel out of his boot. Good storytelling. AJ Styles has looked great since he came back. I love this version of AJ Styles, and I think he should maintain it. This is what I want from AJ Styles. I'm writing AJ Styles' character right now. One, you're going to haunt and torment your opponent. I want him still doing the janitor, valet, random dude in WWE shirt, just popping up, doing the, thing that he did. I just loved everything about it. And then to go like cerebral. Seth kind of does this at times, like one of his Cody matches where he came out with the polka dots and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, AJ had his son dye his hair blonde and cut it to look like when Dom was 8 years old back. It was a lot of little touches that were cool.
Yeah, there was so much well done in that intro. The whole match, honestly. And, I get why Dom is over. I think that Dom's holding on to the IC a little more because of the AAA stuff more than anything. But we'll talk about it at the end. But there's a little bit, I don't know. Like, I'm fine with Dom having it. We were 2/3 right. We're wrong 1/3. So, Raquel and Roxanne lost the belts, so they can go in mourning. Though they almost did, but didn't. They hinted at it, but yeah. So I don't. The whole beginning of that match was great, and then it was. I got no complaints about the match. It was well done.
Yeah,
even AJ on Monday night was like, "You got me."
Yeah, and I like that
cool.
touch too, because that's something you don't see a lot. So I thought it was cool they did that. I think because Becky and Lyra went just under 25 minutes, and Dom and AJ went just over 10. I would have taken about 5 minutes off of Becky and Lyra, and I would have give AJ and Dom like another 5 minutes. Just to
That match had such great flow.
Yeah,
too.
It felt like it ended quick.
Such great flow.
Like it ended. I was like, oh man, like they could have done more. And I'm not crapping on the match. I'm just like it was just seemed that it was getting good. It ended. So, yeah, definitely. My first note was like rematch. There has to be a rematch because I want to see more of that. All right,
They're going to run it back at some point.
They got to.
Let's go to the main event. The main event of main events. Super Cody versus Super Cena. Where, the finishing moves occur, but they don't matter. It's honestly my biggest. I love this match. I appreciated it. And oh my God, we get that like, insert soon to be gif of Cena with Cody coming up Cody's ramp. I was just like, ooh, that's the thing. You made a moment. Like, you're gonna see that for years. There's just gonna be a thing with like, but it was a good match. It did get a little ridiculous with like everybody, And I texted you during this match. I was like, "Hey, you remember that time that he took one crossroads and he was dead in the middle of the ring, and now he's taking like 32 of them, and he keeps on getting back up, and then like, you know, Cody's eating attitude adjustments, and he's still like, I'm good, I'll walk it off, Like, it got a little ridiculous, babyface versus ultra babyface. So it was like, that's why I introduced this as Super Cena and Super Cody, because that's what that was. That was like if you cloned John Cena and made John Cena fight John Cena, and you had a Super Cena fight, like, this is what it would look like. And that's essentially what this was. This was Super Cody versus Super Cena. Like I said, where finishing moves are performed, but they don't matter. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, because I was even messaging during. I'm like, man, this is overkill. And then you kind of explained that a little bit. It's just because it's Cena's last SummerSlam. It's these face on face, and I was kind of like, all right. And then I think what you said is now after this, like, we can go back to normal. Like, we were out of fantasy land. Like, so
Yeah, we'll go back.
now after you
like
kind of said that, and I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? Because you see guys like The Undertaker and other people, they say, like, they hate it when, like, finishers don't finish people and they kill them. It kills the finisher. I think this is, like, an exception to the rule. We can get away with it. Like, it's straight theatrics, really, more than anything.
Yeah, it was. But I think, too, and this kind of applies to Punk, too, right? So, like, his finisher, Cody's finishers, even Cena's finishers are finishers where you could actually look and see, you could visually, mentally understand how somebody could get out of that, right? The Crossroads isn't shit, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't look devastating at all. You just kind of...
No. No, and that's my point, right? Like, I mean, even I would say the F5 is in that category too, but like when Brock Lesnar does the F5, it looks scary and painful. So I'm not gonna say that. Like when he's spinning dude around and it's like, oh, F5, you're like, ooh, I think he's dead. It's just something about the move and him doing it. But overall, the F5, I've seen people do similar, and it's just like, okay, it's a move. But when he does it, it's like,
right. Kind of like everybody DDTs everybody now again. But back in the day when Jake Roberts hit you with a DDT, it was like, as Jake would say, like, what does DDT stand for? And he's like, the end. Because it was. So, but you know what? For entertainment value, though, it was a lot of fun. It told a great story. I don't understand why they... I guess because it's a street fight, but the turnbuckle spot where we unscrewed the turnbuckle and hit Cena, I was kind of... I think you know what it was. I think by that point of the night, Sean, I was so burnt out from chairs and tables and toolboxes and wrenches and all these. It was just like he brought out he unscrewed the turnbuckle and like hit Cena twice, and I'm like, okay, what? They basically like got to get a flamethrower and set somebody on fire, I guess, to like end this. Like, it just maybe...
I know, man. I know.
I think that's why...
It was a little ridiculous.
Yeah. So I think they could have done it without the unscrewing the turnbuckle. But again, I think we're back to, well, as normal as WWE can be. But definitely, and it was a good way for John Cena's 17th and final title reign to go out with a epic 38-minute classic.
All right. You ready for a total deviation that's going to totally derail this conversation, but affects both you and I?
Sure.
ESPN to acquire NFL Network. They're getting Red Zone, too.
So they're going to screw it up. They're going to ruin it.
Thank God I got season
All right,
tickets
folks. Well,
now.
thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. No, I'm kidding.
All right, back to wrestling. Where I was happy.
I'm sorry. I used to love ESPN. I can't stand ESPN anymore. I don't like their coverage. But the only thing I like that they cover is college football. That's it. Everything else, yeah, can go suck it. But
NFL Network is so different.
I know.
It was nice because it was an alternative, and now it's just going to be like copy paste.
Great. So
Whatever.
what?
But
Are they going to give
back to wrestling?
Oh,
Back to wrestling.
good, because all right.
Back to wrestling.
USA.
Because we haven't
USA.
even.
I need a USA. Okay.
I know, right? Oh, I need an Uso.
You make me very angry.
Oozy. I'm very oozy right now. All right. I'm back in my zone. I'm all oozed out. Anyways, so, all right. So, obviously, we get what we expect. Cody gets his title back. Great. Cena stays in the ring. He's taking in the crowd, which he deserves. And this is probably his... No, he's doing Survivor Series, but it's not going to be as big.
He has 9 more appearances.
Yep. So, Cena's out there doing the, getting the accolades he deserves. I'm so glad he's back to being a face. Because it's more fun. And I don't think the crowd ever let him go heel. And that's really the downfall of this heel run. It wasn't him. It was the crowd. And that's why it was so easy. Like, when he goes, Cody, you beat some common sense into me. And the crowd's like, yay, we're back to where we want to be. But the good news is that we didn't get this promo. I respect you. You respect me. I respect you. You respect me. Blah, blah, blah. Worst promos. I hate those promos. We didn't get that because he stayed up as a heel right up until the last second. And then he went, but you beat some sense into me. I'm good. Perfect. Good. Done. And even I was just like, all right, we're back to normal.
And it was miles better than the WrestleMania match they had. Miles better.
Cena has gotten progressively better. Let's be honest.
Well,
right?
Just the story itself of the match was better. Like, we didn't have no Travis Scott, no.
But his matches.
Oh yeah,
He's
turned back the clock. I had no idea. I would never think that Cena would have gone over 35 minutes Sunday night. I thought it was going to be 20 minutes.
I think that's why you had that as a stipulation match. I actually didn't have a problem with that one being a stipulation match because up until Cody took off the freaking corner thing, it was a street fight, but it didn't feel very street fighty. Like, it had moments, but like it was mostly in the ring, and that's fine. So it did what it needed to do. So, all right. Cody gets his belt. Woohoo! Cena gets his moment. He gets to hear the crowd. He's not an asshole anymore, so he gets to actually enjoy the crowd, which makes sense. He was having a good time. And all of a sudden, Brock Lesnar's music hits. And it's like, okay, that's who's next. And, like, keep in mind, folks, this is a farewell tour. And there's already a rivals about John Cena and Brock Lesnar. So, makes sense. Like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, fine. Cool. And I'm good with it. Let's see where it goes. Keep them both away from a title for the rest of this time. Stay away. No touchy. Stay away from the titles. I'm good. So that pretty much wraps up SummerSlam. I mean, nothing really epic. We kind of touched on the Jelly Roll stuff. Triple H brought out Jelly Roll when he did his, out brief on the Saturday night. The crowd was great. I like the new format. I know people have their own theories on why it's this format. I like the new format. It's way better. Because, like, some of the questions that some of these people were asking was so effing terrible. And it's just like, you had the fans behind you. It had a college game day feel.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Excellent analogy.
People are getting to still interact with... People are still getting to interact with the crowds. Triple H is doing the water thing at the request of the crowd. You got one of the announcers going like, hey, you got to stop giving in to them or they're going to make you keep on doing it. Jey Uso's throwing stuff in the crowd. It was fun. It was a fun... If you're only bringing the victors out to talk, then that's how it should be, right? Like, there's nothing more exciting than leaving a stadium after your team wins. And I think that college game day aspect of it, like, was really cool. And even their pre-show's kind of like that too. So
I mean, and look at the
yeah,
size.
I like it.
Look at the size of the crowd they had both nights for the post show. I mean, that place was packed, and then even where the cars were parking, people were still standing. I thought it was fun. I hated the press conferences because, I mean, it was like these reporters are asking like fourth grade level questions, like something like a 10-year-old would ask. Like it was all softball stuff, and it was just like whatever.
It wasn't always softball, but some of it was out of context. Some of it was.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they had to stay.
Some of the questions were good. It is what it is, right? Like I don't know. Like what are you really gonna ask? I like that WWE has their roundtable controlling things, right? Like they're better in tune with what the story needs to be. Because the problem with the press conferences was you were putting all the wrestlers in a bad position of, do I stay kayfabe? Do I not? Do I, you know what I mean? You put them in a bad position, right? Because you want it. Some reporters would ask straight up questions. Other people would ask character questions, and it was like, well, do I stay character or do I break kayfabe and answer the question? This way, it's a controlled environment. That's the biggest thing,
Right,
right?
and
People
also,
can say what they gotta say.
and they can go between kayfabe and like, they can. We saw that on both post shows this weekend. They broke it down a little bit where they broke out of kayfabe, but like it seemed like it was on the performers to do that. It was their choice. They weren't backed into a corner, and they were able to have fun with it.
But Big E
Like
was doing a
Naomi. No,
really good job of
Naomi, you
helping
see
them
the
navigate.
yeah, like Naomi would really see, you'd see that nice part of her because she'd be talking about her dad, and I'm like, but like Jey Uso, man, somebody keep the beer cooler away from that dude before they're gonna put him on a press conference. He might have had a little devil's lettuce too, along with those beers or so. He was entertaining at the post show, but yeah, is that a
Naomi should give a class in how to balance kayfabe in real life. That was a master class by Naomi. It was a total. She put Rhea and Io over and still shit on them at the same
yeah?
time
That
as a
was
heel.
great.
It was brilliant. It was a master class of how to do that, and I give her all the credit in the world. She did amazing at that. That was her freaking wheelhouse, man. Like Naomi slayed it, and I was like, "Go, good. You killed it." She did a great balancing act, and she should teach classes on that
Yeah.
shit because she's got it down. So, Matt, what else you got to say about SummerSlam?
I would say for Sunday night, I'd probably give it a B, maybe leaning B minus, and only because the stip matches kind of brought it down. And I like stip matches, but I didn't want stip match after stip match after stip match. The cage match was terrible. Becky Lyra went on too long, so that knocked it down. So it was still good. I mean, if you're in the B range, I think you've had a good show. If you're in the B range, WWE back in the day had a lot of C's and C minus shows on the regular. So uh,
Well, I think that's because a lot of the card was filler for the big stuff, and like you didn't get quality and you didn't get builds. So they should be hovering. They should be no lower than a B minus,
yep,
which is what I would give Sunday.
yep,
I really, man, I'm gonna tell you that cage match really took a lot out of
it
me.
did.
I was just so. I went from like, okay, come on, and then it went after that cage match. I was like, all right, I'm kind of over all this stipulation shit because it made no point.
And I think that's what made Dominic and AJ so good because it took away all that, okay, we're not getting a
Yep,
weapons
it was
match. It
straight.
was a straight wrestling match. They kind of brought up the Eddie Guerrero stuff. Actually, they did quite a bit, made it fun. You know, I hate to use the word popcorn match, but on the card, I guess this would be considered the popcorn match. But man, I wouldn't have wanted to miss that match getting popcorn because that ended up being really good. So,
No, they were doing
yeah.
great. They were doing great.
No, it
But
was really. But
all right,
that's all
Matt.
I got for SmackDown.
Yeah, I don't have much either. We're gonna move on to Raw here in a second.
Got your mouse.
Yep, cat got my mouse.
There we go.
All right, let's get into Raw. So Raw kicks off. Seth, Paul, Braun, and Bronson all come out as is tradition and as is expected, and we get one hell of a pro. We get lots of Paul, which always makes Matt and Sean happy. We now know that the faction is the Vision.
Great name.
I like it. I can get behind it. Paul is officially the Oracle, which we kind of knew, but it's kind of stamped in stone now. You know, obviously, Braun Breaker is being sold as the big dog, and Bronson Reed has the Shula Fala. And on top of that, he is the tribal thief. Bro, I set everything else aside. Cool. Yeah, we know. Braun Breaker's the future. Cool. We know Seth's got the title. I want to talk about Bronson Reed because, like, I want this to be his character so much. So when they get into a rivalry with somebody and, stuff happens and they got to curb stomp somebody, bad choice of words because it's a finisher for Seth, but when they got to beat somebody up, I want Bronson Reed stealing all the shoes, man. I told you this over text. I was like, I want them to get like an office, a clubhouse, whatever it has to be. And all I want is Bronson Reed to have a bunch of the shoe display cases behind him. And all he's doing, he's just got a rag dusting off shoes every time when he steals them. Because, oh my God, I love this shtick so much. And it's hilarious. And what's best is, and we kind of talked about it when he originally did it, like, shoe culture is a huge thing. And, like, it is so, like, hood to, like, beat somebody up and take their shoes. Like, it's so good. So it was great. I loved it. And I loved the whole segment. It really kind of told the story, and it really set the foundation for this faction. So, what did you take away from the opening segment?
I loved it. I liked how the way they just built, like Paul built everybody up, and Seth's just standing there. And by the way, I guess Seth is back to raiding Elton John's 1970s stage costume closet, because yeah, he's back to where
Him and Becky are sharing.
yeah they are.
They're sharing a closet. It's crazy. He says she's coming out with some outlandish shit too.
Yeah,
Like, I just so
the whole
good.
the whole promo was awesome. I like that finally we got the, like we just said, they got the name. They called it the Vision. Now it's like, now the faction is like locked tight. We're getting different layers of it. Bronson stealing the shoe, Braun Breaker just being a freaking maniac. That's got to be controlled. Like Braun Breaker wants to just beat up everybody, and it's so funny when he like steps up and like Paul and Seth like, no, not now, not now. Like, easy there, Tiger. He like, Braun's just ready. He just wants to destroy everybody. So he's like this caged animal, like that's just waiting to be let off the leash. It's just so good. But then like Braun can actually speak rather eloquently when he needs to. So there's a lot of layers in this. And you mentioned like at some point they have to add somebody else to this faction.
Roman Reigns. Sorry,
You suck.
Like,
just go away.
It was so. I like this faction, and I'm gonna hold off my comments about the way ahead for them until the end.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Then of course LA Knight came out and kind of did his, which was a great way to be the first guy to kind of contend to confront Seth after the title.
It was good.
History.
It was so good, and the fact that Seth, did his typical hype man stuff, and then turned around and went, "No." I said he was gonna say no. I was like, we were watching it, and he was like, blah, blah, y'all want to see blah 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 blah. I was like, he's gonna say no, and he was like, no. Mic flip, and like, Adam Pearce, who apparently had a burr up his ass.
I was gonna say,
which was great.
Who pissed in his cornflakes yesterday morning? Because he was fired up last night. I like it.
I don't usually do this, but screw it. Yes, and and to be fair, like, I knew they were gonna play the medical angle, but like, hopefully it goes away now. Like, I don't want to hear it anymore. Like, I don't care. Like, he played the game and he won. Like, just let it go. Just let it go. He played y'all. Y'all got played. And it's an easy thing for him to counter, too. He could just be like, "Yeah, I had an injury. I had swelling. I went and saw the specialist. It was inconclusive. He said, take it easy on it. Wear the brace. I did. I used the crutches to keep the pressure off of it. And it healed. I hit the gym. I mean, he's kind of breaking it on Rich Eisen, but it was fake, and I kind of,
Dude,
you know,
so
went
Seth
went
Rollins,
to dinner with Bianca and freaking Montez Ford.
Seth was. I sent you that thing, and there was a thing that said how Seth bought the character so much, so he took his daughter out for ice cream, wore the crutches. He'd go to the gym, had the crutches on TV with the crutches. Went out for dinner at like a fancy steakhouse with Bianca Belair Montez. Used the crutches. Then told his daughter like, "I'm really okay." So like, don't tell anybody about it. But like,
Daddy's got a fake boo boo, and she tells her.
she ran right into school and told the teacher like, "Yeah, Daddy's not hurt." So yeah.
It's so good. Look, man, how fucked up would that have been if that would have derailed the whole thing?
Yeah.
But like, just it was the commitment that he did. I talked about it when we were talking about the cash in, like the fact he came out in civilian clothes, the fact, every little detail that went into it. It was good. It was really good. So,
Yep. You got.
but let's move on. We're chugging along here. So we got Sheamus and Rusev, and I'm over this. Period. And I hate that it ended in a count out, which means they're going to run it back.
Yep.
And as soon as Rusev's music hit, I went, okay, let's do this. They have good matches. I appreciate it.
It should have ended last night. That was the rubber match. They were 1-1. Somebody should have won. I don't know where they're going with this, because then Rusev ends up punching out Sami Zayn. And my question is, what's their plan for Rusev? Because if Rusev goes and fights Sami Zayn and Sami Zayn beats him next week, it's like, okay, let's just bury Rusev then. Like, I want Rusev.
I hope Sami Zayn gets destroyed.
We say this all.
I hope something happens.
We say this all the time, and then plucky little Sammy just escapes with his life. It's like at some point the luck's got to run out on this dude. And I don't want.
That's kind of my point.
And it should be at the expense of Rusev. I mean, if you want to build Rusev up, I just don't want Rusev to be like the heel Sheamus. Like, there's got to be something better. So we would text it back and forth, and you thought that Sheamus should beat Dom for the IC title, and then Rusev could take it off. My thing is, I think it'd be better if AJ takes it off Dom. AJ gets a run.
Cool with that too.
Goes for a little run. Rusev goes after AJ, beats AJ. Then down the line, you can run back Rusev and Sheamus, and either at the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, Sheamus finally wins the IC title and gets his Grand Slam. I think that would be how I would do it. But
I'll take that.
I would think it would mean more if Sheamus beats Rusev, because there's history between Sheamus and Rusev with being friends. Crying out loud, I think Sheamus was best man at Rusev's wedding or vice versa. So, I mean, they're tight. So, not a lot of history between Sheamus and Dom, other than the fact it'd just be fun to watch Sheamus, like, beat the crap out of Dom.
That's fine.
Plus, it also gives AJ, I think you got to give AJ a run with the IC title. He's already hinting that this might have been his last SummerSlam. We don't know. So, TikTok, give him a short run for a month or two, and then let Rusev run with it for a while, and then
let him go.
Yeah,
let AJ run, because he's as much as I talk about Bliss, he's looked really sharp too.
He's in great shape.
Like,
too.
Sharp.
Yeah, this is the best.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
he's looked. Pardon the pun. He's looked phenomenal.
Yeah,
and like he's in the zone, man. Like, I'm feeling him right now. All right, so after that, we get a New Day segment. And
Sean,
more than anything that I took out of this,
you want Xavier Woods' hat so you can wear it proudly.
I want him.
You want Xavier's hat,
bro. All I could think of was like, now he was wearing a hat last week too.
Yeah,
and like all I could think of was like, if anybody's seen Scary Movie 3, there's a thing with the sheriff shows up and she's got a normal size sheriff's hat, and then they cut over to Charlie Sheen, and then they come back, and her hat's bigger. And you're like, and it's kind of bigger. Then they cut back, and then they go back to her again, and then it's really big, but it's not huge. And then finally, when she's trying to get back into the police car, it's just like massive, and it's like encumbering her from getting into the police car. So I'm sitting here like, bro, I was like, I think Xavier Woods is doing this crap. Like, I started with no hat, then I had a big hat. Now I got a really supersize that. And then, and what made it even better was he came out for the Grayson Waller Penta match. First off, credit to Grayson Waller. I already told you he's going to get a bump. They're building him up for Crown Jewel and Perth or whatever it is. And then, but first off, he's really talented, by the way. But they're building him up, and like he goes to talk to Adam Pearce on behalf of the freaking New Day, and like he's like, they deserve it, and Pearce is like, they gotta earn it. But you know what? Penta's looking for a match, so guess what? You can wrestle Penta. And like he goes back to the New Day, and he's like, I don't know. He's bald, man. Bald dudes don't know how to tell time. I don't know. He couldn't give me a date. And I was just like, that's fucking hilarious. You know, so New Day ends up coming out for the match. Woods in his exorbitant hat, and like, everything kind of goes down, and Penta obviously gets the win because he's Penta and he's awesome. Penta puts the hat on and looks like, depending on who you talk to and what you watch, he's either Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat or he's Yoshimitsu from freaking Tekken. Like, it was a great gamer reference, but he looks so cool with it.
I was gonna say the hat. The hat
almost
almost fit him. Like it almost like fit his outfit. Like it was great. Those characters you just mentioned, no freaking clue what you're talking about. But the younger kids will. So maybe people. 10
Well,
years...
when I was younger, listen. Before Sean joined the army, he was a big Tekken player. Why? Because we could get drunk and partake in the, as you call it, the devil's lettuce. And you would just sit there and, play Tekken and smash buttons. It was great. But what was hilarious was somebody made like a real cheesy like gamer thing with Penta and Xavier Woods.
Penta.
He's like,
he throws a hat and then blood squirts everywhere. Penta wins.
It was so good. It was so good. I was like,
I did see that.
Anything with Penta, I'm gonna like gravitate to because I love me some Penta, man. But like, that was just, I was dying. I was laughing as soon as I saw Woods. I started laughing right away. I was like, bro, this is hilarious.
How about when Penta's in the back and he does his Cero Miedo, or whoever. I can't speak Spanish. I will by the end of the semester. And then like Grayson Wall's like, oh yeah, no stress. Like didn't even get that right. I don't know if you caught that. It's funny.
I actually appreciate, like, I would love to see Grayson Waller just hanging out with New Day because I think there's something there. So, like, I think that there's a lot of potential to happen there.
Graves is calling him Big G. Like, he's already got him.
So, Judgment Day comes out, whines and cries. We get Charlotte and Alexa cutting a little, we're not friends, but we won't say the F word. Whatever, I don't care. It sounded like a couple of high schoolers like being giddy, and it kind of annoyed me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but Judgment Day comes out, demand a rematch. They oblige because Pierce has got a bug up his ass. I don't normally do this, but his battle cry of the night, and we get a match, and then it went down, and like I said, I expect a long run from Bliss and Flair, and I think there's a whole reason behind it. So, yeah, I don't think there was anything incredible about that match. It was a good match. It was not solid.
Not as good as Saturday, but it was good.
No, it was good.
The finish though, when Bliss just caught Roxanne out of nowhere and gave the sister Abigail, that was a great spot. That was a really good spot. And then going back to the Penta match, the way he twisted himself to get the Mexican Destroyer to work. Because I think Waller might have been out of position. He modified. It was awesome.
What did I call it? I called it a Hurricane Mexican Destroyer. Yeah, you called it. It was like a mix of a Hurricane Rana and a Mexican Destroyer. Like, it was cool.
It was really cool.
All right. So then we get some shit talking in the back that leads to Dominic Mysterio and Dragon Lee having a match. And the biggest takeaway from this match, other than Dom wins, surprise, surprise, is apparently the El Grande Americanos are multiplying. They're pod people now, and we're getting more and more and more and more and more. Did I mention more? One funny thing I saw on social media today that made me kind of chuckle about it. They're like, dude, next year's Royal Rumble is just going to be El Grande Americanos. Like, that's it. That's all you're going to have in the Rumble. I'd do it at War Games. Let's make 10 of them. 10 of them. 10 of them. 5-on-5 Grande Americanos at War Games. Perfect. Done. Written.
Well,
Have at
so
it.
you have the technical side and you have the rudo side, right? For El Grande Americanos, you have the
Whatever.
five
I don't
baby.
care. I'm so over this shtick, and I hold you accountable for it carrying on this long.
I liked
It's
it,
your
but
fault.
last week you were the one saying that
done with it.
you want like a micro El Grande, like you wanted like El Grande.
Well, if we're
You
gonna
said
do it, let's go all out.
yeah.
I want a hornswoggle size El Grande Americano. I want like a Big Show size El Grande Americano. I want all sizes, shapes, and colors of El Grande
So
Americano.
you want super
I just want all of them now.
you want super grande.
All of them. And, people complain that people don't get time on air. Guess what? If you want time on air, you put the costume on, you become El Grande Americano, and take your ass out there, along with the other 15 people that are wearing it. Like, if we're gonna do it, let's have some fun with it. I want different size El Grande Americanos. I want a hornswoggle sized El Grande Americano, and I want a Big Show size, and I want a female one. It'll be like Deadpool and Wolverine when there was all the different Deadpools. It'll work out great. So it just, like I said, if we're gonna have fun with it, let's have fun with it, man. Like, because I'm so over this shtick, I just want it to go away, and it never will now, and it's stuck there. So I'm just gonna come up with craziness for it.
Why not?
But all right, after that, Becky comes out to do her victory parade. I got to add something to this one. So Becky comes out, does her victory parade, and basically says, "Ding dong, Lyra's gone. Cool." Nikki Bella comes out. Oh, you're not it anymore. You're the past generation. I'm whatever. Generational match is what it's going to get billed as. What was great about obviously there was a one-liner in there where Nikki called out Seth, and Becky clapped back with, it was supposed to be you and you can't see him anymore. I was like, bro, I know it's the cheapest, easiest line to run, but whoo, even the crowd was like, ooh, cool. I was like, all right.
It's cheap and easy, but like, did you really think they were going to go there? So when they did go there, it was like they went there. That's what made it really cool.
Yeah, it was fun, man. Like, I liked it a lot. Like, it is fine if this is it.
Nikki was kind of like, touche.
Yeah, she did kind of play it off, and I appreciate it. Like, what are you gonna say?
It happened.
The way that Becky paused and was like, "You can't see it." Like, I was like, "That was well done.
Yeah.
Well freaking done. Bravo." So, like, mad props to her. All right, so then we get to the final match of the night, which is Seth and LA Knight, and like, all right, this match could end in like one of a handful of ways. One of the endings we got, which is obviously CM Punk interference. Another way is they add another person to the faction because the Braun and Bronson can't be out. Whatevs. But what we really got, which is the match was fine, it was good. LA Knight's been looking sharp lately too. I feel like I'm just saying everybody's great now, but he really has looked sharp. I wonder if it's because he's in the world title picture again. So like now he's motivated. He's not mid card. He's like up there with the big boys. I don't know. But the big takeaway is Sean finally got the violence that he's been begging for out of this faction, which is CM Punk, LA Knight, and Roman Reigns got their asses beat, and Roman got destroyed. And like, I think that I have to say it now, and I think it's just going to go on until Roman retires or Seth retires. They have to be considered, those two specifically, have to be considered one of the greatest rivalries in wrestling in WWE history.
I would agree.
Bro, that story has traversed for over 10 years. Like from the Shield to the betrayal to him cashing in at Mania to all of it. Like him causing, getting involved in Cody's match when Cody went over. The story, the rivalry there, like I think they did a Rivals of Seth and Roman. I was like, oh, it's too soon to be doing that one. You need to run that
No,
one
I mean,
back.
then even in the
Because that story,
yeah, it goes a lot of legs on that story. Everybody wants to put
but it's so in depth.
yeah.
It's so in depth, and it still goes. And like as much as I like that Seth has bitterness and hatred towards CM Punk, and theirs goes back a little bit too, and it's not just from WWE. They got other connections that goes elsewhere, but the Seth Roman story is just just amazing. And like you really got to appreciate it at face value. And it's cool because at times Roman was on top, and I don't know if you remember this. During the whole bloodline thing, they kept Seth away from Roman. That was the one match. Because
Seth was on Raw and Roman and the Bloodline were on SmackDown. They were brand separate.
But they always kept them apart, no matter what. They never gave an opportunity for Seth to link in and go after Roman. Even when he was in the Bloodline, he would have been the only guy that would have been able to get over on Roman. And they have intentionally, over the years, kept them apart. Bro, that's some storytelling, man. I'm sorry. Like, they're keeping them apart. And now they're creeping them together, but now you got Roman, who's been, like, tsunami to death, so he can go make movies. But, we'll see him at Survivor Series, whatevs. But, yeah, like, that's got to be, like, I mean, stop and look at the rivalries that really are considered some of the great. Hogan Macho Man is always going to be a big one, but like, has there ever been one that's just from when the rivalry started? Because they started as teammates on with Shield, but when they moved on and Seth finally turned on Roman, that shit has been going on for years. Like, because there was times like even with Hogan and Macho Man, it was like they're off, they're on, they're off, they're on. It was like a bipolar couple, you know what I mean? It was like we're good, we're not, we're good, we're not, But like
They were together, then they split, and they have not. They have not because even last year they teased Seth Rollins and Roman working together at War Games, and Seth totally kiboshed that. Like, no, I don't want to work with them. I don't want,
no.
And I don't want to associate with anybody that wants to work with them. So so it's great that they've carried this on for so long. So I think it'll be really good, and it still keeps Punk involved. So I think this is going to lead up to your Survivor Series. I think this is going to be your War Games match. It's going to be the Vision against Roman J and whoever else they can get together to maybe Jimmy.
Running it back again, Bloodline again.
It seems like they are.
I hope not.
I mean, Bloodline-ish, but I think you're always going to have elements of that Bloodline story until it draws money. People
I don't
like
know,
it,
man. I'm so overplayed. And then you got Bloodline Light rolling around like My Family Tree or whatever, or the Make-A-Wish version of the Bloodline, Wish.com version.
The only thing I kept thinking last night when they were beating Roman and Punk and Night Up, I'm like, where's Jay? But we didn't see Jay all night. But still, conspicuous by his absence is one Jay Uso. So how do you explain that?
He was celebrating. He was tired. He had to do the interview and the post show. Like, I don't know.
He had a 2-day hangover from Saturday night, is what you're saying.
We're just gonna get this stupid thing where it's like
Roman's
out, I'm in.
Yeah. I don't know. I just
it
would just look weird without Jay being there. Like, okay, where's Jay? I don't know if you were thinking the same thing watching it, but
Sammy wasn't there either. I don't care. Honestly, that's probably your 5 for
That's true, and he was
your Survivor Series.
and he was in the.
It'll probably be Roman, Punk, freaking, LA Knight, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn. That's your 5 right there. Boom, 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 boom,
Yep.
boom.
And then then all Seth has to do is
they'll add somebody or attach somebody. It doesn't matter. I don't know.
just don't weaken the. We'll call them the Vision, but don't weaken. You cannot do anything to weaken the Vision at this point. And even like the Bronze losing Saturday night did not weaken them. If you watch that match, they were cocky. They were talking shit. They really weren't focused on it. And I think that's on purpose because they're like the younger guys. They're going to make mistakes once in a while. That's okay.
Well, I think also too it plays into the rudderless ship, so to speak. So I think what you see is that like they did great, but they were still kind of screwing up. Now Seth is back in the mix after his ruse, so now you got Seth and Paul to kind of put the blinders on those two,
Right? And now they should not lose anything. Now they got to win out, or if they lose because of DQ or double count out or something great, ref stoppage. But they cannot be pinned or submitted.
Now you got to keep them strong.
Yep.
And they got to find gold to put on them. They need gold. Like, that whole faction needs gold. And I know you and I are going back and forth about tag team gold. The problem is, I'm not against tag team gold. I think it's okay for them because Braun's already had the IC title, so it's kind of like, I don't need him to run it back with that. Eventually what I really would like to see is Breakker traversing over to freaking SmackDown and challenging Cody. I would be willing to let Cody lose to put the belt on Braun Breakker, but that's a bold statement.
It is.
But, it's not time yet. It's not time, so...
That's what I'm saying.
But the problem is,
For now, you put the world title on them. They're the world tag team champions, and then you can use those guys, and you're starting to see some teams trickle in on the Raw side, strengthen up that Raw division.
What a picture. What a picture.
And what did I text with you? Because now they can... Who can they screw with now, on top of Punk and Roman and Jay and anybody else? Now they can start messing with the Judgment Day. Like, nobody's off limits.
Nope. Well, what's even better, I was thinking the visual, right? So if they get the tag titles look like the heavyweight belt.
Exactly.
You'll have 3 almost identical belts. It'll be a great image. So I'm all for it, man. Like, I'm ready for them. I think you just keep on booking them strong from this point out. Like, really strong. And so long as Bronson Reed got his second pair of shoes off of Roman, huzzah. Yep, the Tribal Thief at it again, and I love it. Got to build that collection. Got to make that Shula Fala big, son. So I'm all for it, man. And I look forward to next week. I want to see what happens. So
yeah, it's a Canadian crowd.
Believe it or not.
And that's what bothers me about it being in Quebec next week, because Sami Zayn's fighting Rusev in Quebec. Do you really think they're going to let... Well, actually, you know what? Hometown folks haven't been winning lately, so... Yeah, hopefully Sami gets destroyed in Quebec. Oui.
That would be beautiful. The plucky underdog does it again. In his hometown. Give me a break. I'm so tired of that shit. Like...
Bonjour this, buddy.
Just let it go. Yeah. Bonjour, mofo. Like, let's go. Like... I'd have Rusev say that line right as he's beating his ass. Like, have him take a page out of Braun Breaker's book as he's got him in that his finisher, his submission hold. He'd be like, Sami Zayn. So over Sami Zayn. It's so bad. And like I said, I used to like him. I had him in his shirt. Maybe it's just because I liked him because of KO connection. I don't know.
Maybe
they have great matches. I don't get it.
I love when Sami and KO were together. That was awesome. Loved them together. It just, yeah. So folks out there, we don't hate the guy or hate the gal. We just hate the gimmick or the character. That's what we're saying. We don't personally hate Sami Zayn. We just hate how they're booking him and writing him right now.
Yeah, it's kind of. And maybe it's just because KO gave him the edginess that you needed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not here to psychoanalyze it. We've had a long run. This has been a long pod, Matt. Let's take it home.
Let's do it.
Matt, tell the folks where they can find us.
Oh, they can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and TikTok. Also, if you have not gotten a chance to watch Unreal on Netflix, it's a must-watch. It's awesome. I don't know if Sean, if you've seen it yet, but maybe once you're done, once you watch it, then we'll have to talk about it a little bit. But it is really good. So cool.
Yeah,
I got a big airplane
folks.
over me, so I'm gonna close up shop for the night and turn it back over to you.
All right, folks. Hey, on our social media accounts, you can always find us. Feel free, please continue to comment.
Yes.
To whoever I offended by smoking on one of our shorts last week, I'm sorry, but we had tons of technical issues and Sean was over it. So, he had to close it out. But listen, we love all the interactions. We want to hear what you think and what you guys are, if you think we're full of BS, great. If you think we're talking greatness, great. Let's have a conversation. Especially, Matt, what's that pod that's been hooking us up on TikTok lately?
It's the Biconics.
Yeah, Biconics, a podcast that's out there. Hey, make sure you check that out, man, because for whatever reason, them and us have been kind of clicking back and forth on TikTok, but make sure you give them a listen too. Let's get their numbers boosted up as well. But anyways, folks, have a great weekend. I'll be at the races this weekend, and we got through a great weekend of wrestling, and let's do it again next week. I'll talk to y'all later, and Matt, have a good one, buddy.
Peace
we'll
out.
talk it later.
Deuces.
Later.
Later.
Deuces.